Welcome to Our Weird World, where each week we gather around the bonfire to uncover the world's most fascinating legends and mysteries. Tonight, we bring you the story of the Witch of Old House Woods. So sit back, relax, and let the flames of our virtual campfire keep the witch in the woods at bay. Nestled along the shores of Mathews County in Virginia lies a quiet, unassuming forest that is home to one of the state's most haunted places, Old House Woods. Though peaceful by day, this stretch of woods has long carried dark tales of vanished sailors, ghosts of lost treasure hunters, phantom pirates, and the spectral presence of a woman known simply as the Witch. Old House Woods is rooted in real history, its trees bearing witness to generations of lives lost or hidden, often disappearing mysteriously. During the Revolutionary War and the War of 1812, soldiers and seamen made the area a temporary refuge. And yet, many of these men would simply disappear into the woods, their souls said to wander restlessly ever since. Among these spirits, one stands out, the Witch of Old House Woods, a figure whose legacy is tinged with sorrow, vengeance, and an enduring attachment to the secrets hidden within the forest depths. On a mist-laden evening in the 1700s, a small schooner anchored off the coast of Mathews County in the Chesapeake Bay. Aboard were a band of weary men, British soldiers who had seized a cache of Spanish gold, but the night was not on their side. Storm clouds gathered quickly, and the waves, once calm, grew violent. The men struggled to steer the ship, the sound of thunder growing nearer with each passing second. Then, in a twist of fate that seemed almost otherworldly, the ship was dragged toward the shore and into the heart of Old House Woods. The villagers of Mathews knew to keep their distance from these woods, yet stories spread of strange sights that night. Ghostly figures with hollow eyes seen skulking along the trees, ghostly lanterns floating aimlessly, and voices carried on the wind, desperate voices calling out for help. Several days later, villagers stumbled upon signs of wreckage and odd silvery coins washed up along the shore. But of the men aboard the schooner, there was no sign, no bones, no belongings, nothing at all. Some whispered they had been claimed by the woods themselves, drawn in to join the legion of spirits rumored to wander there for eternity. The Witch of Old House Woods was once a healer named Isabel Rowe, a woman versed in herbal remedies and whispered magic passed down from her ancestors. She was beautiful but reclusive, a figure as mysterious as the woods themselves. Isabel lived alone in a tiny cabin on the forest's edge, which earned her the distrust of villagers who preferred not to think of the spirits that seemed to haunt every shadow of their own homes. Isabel's power was known to all, though few understood it. She healed children of fevers, crafted charms to protect sailors, and was said to even communicate with the spirits of those lost in the woods. But while some respected her, others feared her, whispering that she had bargained with the forest to keep its secrets and commune with its ghosts. Years passed, and with them came growing hostility towards Isabel, fueled by famine and hardship. When mysterious events would strike, a drought, an illness, an unexpected death, the villagers found a familiar scapegoat, Isabel. Fear grew into hatred, and it wasn't long before they confronted her, accusing her of witchcraft. Isabel was given an ultimatum: leave or face the consequences. She fled, deeper into Old House Woods, but that wasn't enough. One fateful night, some villagers pursued her with torches and pitchforks, determined to see an end to her curse. The forest was alive that night with sounds that shouldn't have existed. Strange whispers, the crunch of branches underfoot, and a sudden, eerie silence as the villagers surrounded Isabel. Then, with no escape in sight, Isabel whispered a curse. The air chilled and the villagers hesitated, but then, in a flash, she was gone. From that night forward, the Witch of Old House Woods became a legend. Those who wandered too far into the woods would feel her icy gaze upon them, and some claimed to see her specter, dressed in white, moving silently between the trees. It is said that her eyes glowed faintly in the darkness, and that her presence brought an unnatural cold. In the years that followed, strange occurrences in the forest only multiplied. Sailors who anchored too close to the woods on foggy nights would report visions of the witch on the shore, beckoning them. Some vanished entirely, their boats found empty or abandoned. Pirates who came in search of the rumored Spanish gold would report inexplicable sightings, a floating figure of a woman whose very presence sent them fleeing for their lives. A local fisherman named Thomas heard the stories all his life, but dismissed them as superstition. One evening, he set out to collect his nets just as the sun dipped below the horizon. As he rode past the edge of Old House Woods, a strange, palpable stillness fell upon the water. The air grew icy, his breath visible despite the warm summer night. Then he saw her. On the shore stood a figure of a woman, her hair black as night, her face pale as moonlight. She raised her hand and pointed toward the woods, where a faint, flickering glow beckoned him. Driven by an impulse he couldn't explain, Thomas made his way to shore. He walked along a winding path that seemed to stretch longer than it should, the lantern glow growing dimmer, its light slipping into shadows that seemed alive. It wasn't long before he felt utterly lost, and then he heard it. The faint whisper of Isabel's voice calling his name. He turned and saw her, closer this time, her hand outstretched as if to pull him into the forest's dark heart. Just as he was about to reach for her hand, the sound of a bell shattered the silence, snapping him from the trance. He ran, half stumbling, tearing through the brambles until he reached his boat. By dawn, Thomas had left Mathews County for good, leaving behind a tale that would cement Isabel's legend. Centuries have passed, but the witch of Old House Woods remains. Some who have dared to venture into the forest claim to hear her soft, sorrowful song carried by the wind. Others report seeing a pale figure in white, forever guarding her secrets. It is said that anyone who ventures into the woods with greed in their heart, searching for the lost gold or seeking to exploit the forest, will be met by Isabel's wrath, doomed to wander lost within the trees as her curse claims yet another soul. For the villagers of Mathews County, Old House Woods is a place to be avoided, especially on foggy nights when the air grows cold and the strange lights flicker. The forest is still alive with the whispers of those who vanished, still hiding the secrets of gold, ghosts, and a witch's enduring sorrow. But for those who have dared to enter and have returned, one truth remains. The witch of Old House Woods is always watching, forever tied to the land where she once lived and died. As we leave you here, remember, the legends of our weird world are boundless. If you've enjoyed the stories, please share, like, and subscribe to our channel for more content. Your support enables us to keep these stories alive. Until next time, stay curious and don't go wandering into the woods at night.